Early on the morning of May 22nd, 2024, a new YouTube link was posted to Greg Lucas's X account. Once again, the video in question was posted to Love Thy Nerd's own channel, though this one was unlisted. Here, Greg's mission is now made clear. He is coming back, not to unite the Seven, but to destroy the Six, as in the 6 original founders of LTN. And yet, paradoxically, there was a QR code in the video that led to a page offering help.
It's a bit of a web application, a means of communication with, from its own description, a means of communication with Elijah, who is inside of the Forgotten. He allows for us to input some prompts, things like the name Greg, and he responds, albeit likely automatically through some sort of a database of answers, responds to these messages with what he knows about them. So, for example, if we type Greg, we receive a message saying that Greg was one of the founders. He's become obsessed with trying to get back to our world.
In all, 23 answers were found, though there were more prompts, many with the same answer. From these prompts, we get clear answers about what up until now have been assumptions. Elijah is the one helping the LTN Discord, but not the Elijah they know. This is the time traveler Elijah stuck in the Forgotten's infinite woods. The Forgotten is his world, too vast to measure and growing every moment. It is made up of things that have passed from this reality. The Infinite Woods is where time travelers are banished to, as it is their fault this warped reality even exists in the first place. Greg is indeed Elijah's son, who has become obsessed with getting back home. He was one of the original founders of LTN, but was erased from this reality and from LTN history. There were always 7, until Elijah made a terrible mistake. When any of the founders' names are put in, the response is always one of the 7 founders, except for Bubba. When Bubba is entered as a prompt, we learn Bubba's true role in all of this, with the response, "Bubba was a great friend to me when I was hurting. He also inadvertently sent me down this path. I'm afraid he is in great danger, and he likely doesn't even know why." When the prompt "Unite the 7" is put in, the response from Elijah was he wants to unite the 7 so he can destroy the 6, with the last 3 words in all capital letters. The only case something has been written like that in all of the answers. This led the Discord to put in "Destroy the 6" as a prompt, which revealed another video and recording from the Order 66 YouTube channel. The images this time were squarely focused on Greg himself, both his out-of-phase version and his fully reintegrated form. What does this mean? How close is Greg to making his way back to this reality, and just how much danger does he pose? The LTN Discord worked to correct the audio in hopes of finding the answer.
I would say I've become obsessed. After finding my father in the Infinite Woods several months ago, maybe years ago now, it's really hard to tell, he led me to a shack he had constructed. It was filled with heaps of discarded technology. He was building a machine that could break the reality barrier, with the ultimate goal of returning the forgotten to the real world. We have worked together all this time without any success. My father has felt more and more defeated and guilty. About a year ago, he told me he was giving up. I told him that I couldn't. He didn't try to stop me. I've been so focused on this, I haven't made a recording in a long time, but I really haven't had anything to record other than failure. It's taking me forever, but I have successfully sent a transmission through, a breadcrumb to follow, and I sent it to my dad. I have been able to triangulate his smartphone in the real world. I'm afraid to disconnect it because I don't want to lose this one connection that I have, so I'm only going to be using this method, at least for now. I can only send 12 digits, spaces included. I sent, "Where is GL?" I will continue to try to up the amplitude to send bigger messages. My next goal is to connect him with the LTN Discord. Perhaps they can work together to figure out a way to communicate back. Maybe work from their end as well to bring us all home. After that, I'm going to attempt to access photos that should feature all 7 of the founders. This will give them an idea of who to look for. Maybe they'll remember me. I got a lot of work ahead of me. But this is the first time I've truly felt optimistic. Somehow, some way, some day, I'm gonna see my friends again.
Confusing. This Greg seems hopeful, obsessed, but in a positive way. However, it appears that he ignored Carol's guidance to keep an audio journal, letting possibly years pass before recording his fourth entry. In this audio, we learn that the restricted number sending messages to Elijah's phone in this reality was Greg from the Forgotten. It was Greg who brought Elijah to the LTN Discord. It was Greg that sent the clear photos. Without question, Greg is trying to find his way home and is reaching out to this reality for help, but perhaps it's not working the way he intends. A member of the Discord speculates that the messages we are receiving from Greg seem to be coming in from different points in Greg's timeline, implying that relativity is a factor. It was at this point that Elijah Lucas rejoined the LTN Discord, seemingly having had a change of heart. Explaining that he had indeed continued to investigate despite claiming he was done, he had found the prompt and answer page. He said it was the answer that came when he put in his wife's name that convinced him this was real. The LTN Discord welcomed him back warmly. They did not bombard him with questions, but instead apologized for scaring him away. In an effort to feel more comfortable teaming up with the Discord again, Elijah asked them all to share something about themselves with him. This would humanize them more to him, instead of just being usernames on a screen. The LTN Discord happily shared details about their lives, their jobs, their families, excited to see their friend back and eager to help him solve this mystery. Elijah then thanked them and logged off for the night. A few hours later, Elijah wrote his 6th blog entry. He begins recapping the videos and clues from the day. When speaking about the prompt and answer page, knowing that there are 24 answers in total, he says this:
I'll tell you right now, I have not found all 24. I began entering more names and things I recall from this labyrinth of messages and puzzles. What I found leads me to believe that these messages are indeed coming from me, the other me.
It's unclear if Elijah just never got back to addressing it or never saw the list of 23 answers found in the Discord. But he doesn't mention returning at all, yet. However, after sharing the audio of Greg's latest journal entry, he writes this:
I'm convinced the codes and answers above, this hopeful message from Greg, I believe that some version of me made a mistake and erased my son from existence and my own memory. But I don't know what to do with this information. I will continue to chase the clues until I figure out how I can help my son get back before something bad happens. Just where exactly does Bubba Stolka play into this? Is he to be trusted? I'm still unsure. I assume time will tell and answers will come. Until then, I will remain cautious.
Early the next morning, Greg posted once again on his X account. This time, it was an image link to a photo implanted on Love Thy Nerd's website. But in place of the image file name was a QR code leading to a cryptogram. Eventually, it was discovered that the answer and image name was Fruit Loops, spelled F-R-U-I-T. The image was a box of Fruit Loops from The Forgotten, which is difficult to look at. It's just a cereal box, but something about it feels so wrong that it makes you want to avert your eyes. Noticing lettering over Toucan Sam's face, the image was manipulated to read the full text. This pointed to a live Twitch stream occurring later that day on Love Thy Nerd's own Twitch channel. Having hours to wait, the LTN Discord sat in their anxiety all day, going over all the newer clues again, looking for anything they missed, and setting their alarms to not miss the live stream. There was still one answer left to be found on the prompt and answer page, but no one could find it. When the time of the live stream approached, nerves on edge, the LTN Discord sleuths tuned in not knowing what they'd see. But nothing could prepare them. Most of the Love Thy Nerd staff were unaware this stream was even happening. One was even in the airport at the time. But all were otherwise occupied with work. All except for the community manager, Brian, who was watching along. Here is what they saw.
a select few know of its location. But at some point, that knowledge was lost. He couldn't figure out how to return to the light world. You can go between the two worlds.
Between the two worlds.
And find the evils hidden in the dark world.
Dark.
As terrifying as it was to discover that not only Bubba, but all the current staff were being watched and broadcast live in that moment by this unhinged and obsessed Greg, as well as seeing the phased-out image of Greg appear in Bubba's room for a split second. The LTN Discord hardly had time to dwell on it, as a QR code flashed at the end of the stream leading them to a new video on the Order 66 YouTube channel. Photos in the dark room again. Several we have seen before, but this time ending on an eerie wall of close-ups of the 6 founders. And the message, he's coming. He's coming. Not I'm coming, he's. If it's not Greg, who is sending this message? Whatever the case, the name of this video is Recording 0187, implying there have been 182 recordings we have not heard. What happened in those recordings, and how much time has passed for Greg between then and now? The adjusted audio file gave us some answers.
This will be my final recording. I have filled up countless mini cassette tapes chronicling my progress. I began sending messages to my father's phone in the real world. I sent codes, links, social media posts, messages, photos. I've sought help, and I've waited and waited, and nothing. I'm being ignored. The proof I have sent should be more than enough for them to realize I existed. I've sent photos and screenshots with me in them from their own servers. Can they not see me in the photos? I have crafted messages on a mirror of their website begging for help. I've been working for years to reach out to them. And for years they have chosen to let me live out eternity in the forgotten. But it won't be up to them much longer. I've developed methods to reach my hand into the technology in the real world, to manipulate things, to access cameras, to even access an account. on the LTN Discord. I have infiltrated the very community that wishes I didn't exist. In fact, they think I am working alongside them to stop me. But really, I am gathering as much information about them as I can to help me find them in the real world. Because I'm coming. I have almost worked it out. I am on the verge of a breakthrough that will tear open a door between our two realities, one which I can step back through. If you want me erased, prepare yourself for my rebuttal. I no longer want to unite the Seven. I'm coming to destroy the Six. This is Bubba's fault. For meddling in my father's life. For putting this crazy idea in his head to begin with. He deserves to be erased, not me. I'm going to erase him and anyone who calls him a friend. I'm going to erase LTN. Soon, you'll all see. You'll all see.
If it wasn't clear before, it is certainly clear now, as Greg puts it in plain English. Bubba is in danger, as are all the founders and staff of LTN, and even the members of the Discord. Greg admits that he has compromised an account to gather information on each member, in order to find them in the real world. While there is some initial finger-pointing, it is eventually concluded that Elijah Lucas never really rejoined the Discord at all. It was Greg using Elijah's handle. This was confirmed when Elijah posted his 7th blog post sometime after the Twitch stream, seeming much farther behind than the LTN Discord, and unaware that the stream even happened. In fact, he was still working on finding all the prompts from the previous day's clues. And while he did find the cryptogram that led to the Twitch stream, he never figured the puzzle out. He did highlight, however, the new photo of Greg on the X account. Elijah ended this entry with this.
I think I'm right to be afraid. I fear I cannot stop him from coming. Greg, if you can see this, I don't know what the other version of me did to you, but I'm so sorry.
It was the next morning before the LTN Discord had completely worked out that the compromised account was Elijah's, and attempted to reach out to him via the comment section of his blog. Unfortunately, they were too late.